Welcome back. This is my favorite part. This is going to be all about what becomes possible and what is truly already waiting for you. Every time I work with a new client or I get on a strategy call with someone, I can see their end result before they can. And here's what I really want you to know. I've been grateful and I've been in this place for a really long time now. And I can tell you that there's so much value in waking up every single day and feeling it. And having a management system to go back to when I notice that perfectionism is rearing its ugly head. Today, I was told by someone that they felt like they were meeting a real live perfectionist. And I corrected them and I told them I'm a recovering perfectionist. But someone who likes to know how things operate, who manages their life in a way that actually feels good to them. That distinction matters a lot, and it's absolutely available to you as well. Here's what starts to shift when you do this work. You're going to have an inner critic you know how to operate. This is the way you talk to yourself, the way you hear yourself. It's going to change. And from that, you start making intentional decisions about which relationships and environments you actually want to keep spending your time and energy on. Your emotional intelligence is going to increase significantly because you start recognizing what you do and do not have control over. You go on a vacation and you genuinely enjoy the whole thing. You're present with the people you love in a way that takes mental snapshots of a moment and feel truly grateful to be in it. The black and white thinking starts to soften. You begin allowing things to exist in the gray. You realize that the gray is where a lot of things exist. You're able to sit with difficult feelings long enough to realize that it's going to pass. It's not permanent and it doesn't define what happens next. The anxiety starts to feel further away because now you have the tools to meet it when it shows up instead of being swept away by it or drowned by it. The burnout begins to lift because you start putting your time and your energy where you actually want them to go instead of defaulting to what drains you. You stop giving energy to relationship, the job, the responsibility that's leaving you feeling hollow. Because you finally internalize that if you only have one life and the source of everything starts with you. The people around you start to notice. Your partner, your friends, your colleagues, they notice that your shoulders have dropped, that you're not micromanaging every outcome, that you don't need to control everything in order to feel okay with what's being built. None of this means a perfect life, but that's never been the goal. The goal is a life that you can actually enjoy, one where you have real management system for maladaptive perfectionism so that when it shows up again and it starts to put you in a tailspin, which does happen, you can take a step back and say, that's my perfectionism talking. I know what to do with it now. I was in this exact situation this week. I didn't pull on my tools right away, but I came back by the next day and I realized how easy it is to fall back into old patterns when you're in the middle. When you have enough knowledge to know you can do this, enough resources to figure it out, but you're not at that place where it just clicks. For perfectionists and high achievers, being in the middle is so frustrating. But it's also a really beautiful place because you don't have the pressure of knowing all of it right now, just yet. Let me walk you through how this work actually happens. The first phase is regulating and connecting. You don't know me yet. I don't know you fully. And before we can do anything else, we need to start regulating your nervous system so it feels safe enough to go deeper. This is where you feel genuinely understood and not analyzed, where you trust me, where I share stories with you as much as you share your stories with me. There is nothing more powerful than discovering that someone else has been exactly where you are or close to where you are and has found a way through. The second phase is interrupting and implementing. I'm going to push you. I'm going to ask you to do things your monger absolutely does not want to do. Your BFF is going to want to run. Your monger is going to tell you to keep doing what's familiar. And I'm going to be there in real time through sessions, through Voxer, helping you interrupt that cycle before it completes. That third phase is called integration and sustaining. We build a management system that lives inside of you, not inside of our sessions. One that means that when hard things happen, when the pressure is spiking, when life doesn't cooperate, you have a repeatable way to move through it without being taken out. And yes, I'm going to teach you how to actually celebrate your wins, because perfectionists almost never do. And it is one of the most important parts of building the relationship with your own life that actually feels good, that gives you that personal acknowledgement. I want to tell you about a few people that I have worked with in the past and one that I'm even working with currently. I worked with someone that we're going to identify as client A. He is someone I now consider a close friend. Early in our work, I told him I was going to help him not be able to even recognize himself. He said what most of my perfectionist male clients say. He said, I'm still going to be a bearded white guy looking in the mirror, but that's not what I meant. It's not visual. It's the way you make decisions. It's the things that trigger you, the way you feel about your own life. So earlier this year, I was going through some old strategy call forms and I sent him what he had written when he first reached out to me, his own words describing where he was. He messaged me a week later and he said that it kind of messed him up, but not in a bad way. He said he couldn't believe where his life had been. He wasn't married. He was coming out of an ugly divorce. He was saying yes to everything, feeling disconnected from himself, carrying an insurmountable amount of grief. Now he's married. He has a family. He lives somewhere he chose. He has a career that he genuinely loves. And our biggest ongoing conversation is about perfectionism that still shows up, but it's the moments that we can laugh about together. We're not working together, but it's just the funny things like needing that one cabinet organized a certain way and just leave it, don't touch it. Another client that I have worked with was a Stanford graduate, an author, former Google employee. She came through a group coaching program I hosted for 6 weeks and said in her testimonial that she felt like she did 6 years of personal growth in that time. There was a moment on a group call where she was fixating on a mixed review for her book that she wrote. I pulled up a similar review of one of her favorite authors, but I didn't show her the name of the author or the book. And I asked her to read it in front of the group. Something shifted. She realized the fixation was never about the review. It was about the internal noise that had been running alongside of her ambition for years. What changed wasn't her drive. It was everything running underneath it. Another client told me recently that her thinking has changed because she can hear my voice in her head. She has a very difficult relationship with a family member, and it's completely dysregulated her. We built an internal and external system so that she could understand exactly what was within her control. And she said something to me that might be the best compliment I've ever received. She said, because of the work that we've done, I have the capacity to get my family a puppy. That puppy, who I've never met before, but I feel deeply connected to, represents something enormous for me and this client. Before our work, she couldn't even take up space for anything she actually wanted. Now she can. Then there's a client I'm still working with right now. He's a successful business owner dealing with aging parents, not feeling present with his kids, running through his days on autopilot. His number one coping mechanism had always been getting out on his boat and going fishing. And he had stopped completely, full stop. He couldn't even get himself to tie or remember how to tie normal knots, like regular knots for fishing. He forgot how. This is deep functional freeze. And someone who has done the same repetitive action his whole life. Within the first 2 months of us working together, we regulated his nervous system. We named the weight of what was happening with his parents and the pressure he was feeling. We addressed the shame he was carrying about how he was showing up as a husband and a father. Shame that was completely disconnected from how his family actually saw him. We did exposure work. We talked through what getting on the boat would look like step by step until it felt possible. He got on the boat. He went tarpon fishing. He figured out the lines. And that's what this work does. If you're sitting here thinking, it sounds like me, but I'm not sure I can actually change, I really want you to hear this. The clients who create real change are not the ones who are most motivated when they start. They are the ones who are finally honest about what is not working and willing to try something different with real support behind them. Not willpower, not just inserting more information, but actual support in real time for how your brain and nervous system are actually working. I am not the right coach for everyone. And if I'm not yours, I will help you find someone who is. But if you've heard across the series something that felt like someone finally seeing who you are, if you've recognized yourself in any of these stories, that recognition is worth paying attention to. You've been carrying this for a really long time. You do not have to keep carrying it the same way. If this series has resonated with you, I want to invite you to take the next step. Not because I'm asking you to buy something, but because the gap between where you are and where you want to be does not close on its own. Awareness brought you here. What comes next is the bridge. I want to show you what this work looks like in practice, specifically for you, for your life, for the patterns that have been running the show. If it feels like the right fit, apply, and we'll take it from there. I've really enjoyed spending the time with you. I hope you have a great rest of your day.